So to get started, we'll go to New, Metric, Draft File. And down here in the bottom left-hand corner, right mouse click on Sheet 1 and go to 2D Model. That clears up our sheet. We'll go to the line command. First line will be 50. This is our first link. So let's zoom in on that a little bit. And our second link, 60. Our third link, 80. And we'll just close it off. Add dimensions. And this first link, let's change that to 15. And this first link is where the motor goes. And if we click on this link and grab that end where it's red and highlight that, we can turn that around. But our link is just floating around in space. And so we need to ground the mechanism. And this is our ground link right here. And so to do that, I'll need to hit escape so I'm not in any commands. And I'm going to go to the lock command right here. Select the lock and pick on the end of the 15 right there. And that adds a little constraint which locks that down. And again, if we go back and select this line, and at the end of the line it highlights with the red dot, and we move that around, we can see that's our crank. That's the basis of a 4-bar mechanism. So we have our ground link right here, our input link where the motor goes on. I call that the crank. And then this one over here, the 60 millimeters, is the output link. And this gives us the desired motion. Again, if we touch on that line and spin that, that line is the output. And the line in between, this 80, that's the floating link that connects the two together. And you'll hear people call that the coupler. Now, by changing any of these dimensions, the length of the links, this can dramatically change the behavior of the mechanism. If we go back and modify this crank, for example, you'll see a very different result. And if we continue to make changes to these dimensions, we'll come up with completely different types of 4-bar linkages. And before analyzing this any further, I'd like to go back and identify these 3 lines of the mechanism. I'll hold down the Control key and I'll increase the line weight to say 2 and change the color to blue. And this makes it easier to identify the actual mechanism. And again, to rotate this, identify the line and simply drag it around.